You're listening to The Chris Maher Show, live on YouTube.
All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the program. Going to be a good show tonight. We're in the dog days of the summer, I guess, as everybody kind of wants to call it. There's not too much to talk about with the Flyers right now. A lot of fun stuff to kind of think about and kind of ponder on. But as I do every week, got Kickin It With Knuble here, and I'm bringing Mike here just in 1 second. There we go. Mike, how are you, man? Thanks for
Chris. How you doing?
Good. Yeah, I'm doing well. Have you just curious? You heard anything from Cole from the summer showcase?
Well, I've been down there twice. That's only like an hour 45 for us, so it's pretty easy to go down there. And yeah, I've been down there and Saturday and yesterday, and then they play tomorrow. They kind of mix the teams up for tomorrow, which makes sense. They kind of play 2 games with the same lineup, so they'll mix some things up a little bit and play. Actually, both USA teams play each other tomorrow.
Okay.
And then there'll be a game on Friday, and that's it. So yeah, so far it's going pretty good. So it's a real competitive hockey. I think it's kind of hard, this time of summer to really play this hockey. It's tough, guys, especially guys who are in college, are kind of in this college training mode, and during it's this time of summer, it's hard to play this high level hockey.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, especially because for a guy like Gauthier, I think, and it's obviously it's a little bit different, but he ended up playing in the Worlds. He went to college, the Worlds. He skipped Flyers Dev Camp, and then ended up going to play in this too. So he's had a lot of hockey in these X amount of months. So I think that's probably part of it too. Is some guys they play, they just kind of don't stop type thing, and then there's guys that kind of use it as a little bit of a break in between. But anyway, yeah, no, not too much to kind of really talk about tonight. You got Frost still waiting to sign. I put that out the other day that we're still kind of waiting on some updates there. But one thing I wanted to do, Mike, is last week we talked about the defense and kind of some of the things with the D and the just. I guess I feel like me and you are kind of on the same page here that their defense just looks really scary, and in the sense that anytime the other team's coming down the ice, that the Flyers might be giving up a goal type thing. So I kind of did some comparisons of the D, and I just kind of did rosters and stuff like that. So last year's defense, you had Provorov, D'Angelo, Sanheim, Ristolainen, Sealer, and York, Braun, Zamula, and then Ginning and Adder. Those were the 10 guys that played last year on the D. And it kind of ebbed and flowed throughout the year, right? It wasn't, anything too, fantastic or anything like that. But I mean, you had some good moments. But with this year, again, we talked about this a little bit last week. You have no Provorov, you have no D'Angelo, you add Walker, you add Stahl, no Braun either. It just looks really, really weak. And you know what I mean? You don't have any, for me, does it have that same effect? That's the one question I think for me. It's you really don't have a number one defenseman. Let's be honest. I feel like it has that lack of snarl a little bit. You know what I mean? Where you don't really have any 2 physical guys outside of Ristolainen. You don't have too many minute loggers either. Guys like Provorov that can play a good chunk of minutes. You have York as your power play quarterback, but BK2 alone, I mean, it just doesn't look good. So I'm kind of just curious, kind of what you're thinking about it too, and just kind of if there's a comparison that you kind of have from this past year going into the this season.
What you're saying is that there's nobody there that you're tying your wagon to, right? Who's your big dog? Who's going to be the guy there for the next?
Right. And that's kind of my thing is you have York, but outside of that, it's who do you really have? You know what I mean?
Yeah. You had Provorov there, and he's, he was a guy that you felt like you could tie your wagon to him and that he'd be around for a long time. So you got to assume there's some natural growth in there, amongst the players, and, that they are aging up and getting bigger and stronger, and they're going to be better. But, again, I think we talked about the other week, it's going to be ugly some nights, some nights will be downright terrible. And other nights you'll be okay, they're, they can do the job or whatever. So, again, it's it's a little bit of a trial by fire here in this thing, and I don't know. You're gonna throw guys in there and let them swim for it a little bit, and
Right.
so but imagine it'll be a pretty good revolving door. There'll be guys getting chances and stuff. So as a player, you come in, you're going to get your chance, and it might be for a little while. Then you circle back around, maybe go back down again if you can clear waivers. While somebody else comes up, and they'll see how much they can get. How many good games in a row they can get out of you before you start to falter a little bit, and then you'll be out, and then the next guy will be in. So it'll be a bit of a revolving door for sure this year.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's the thing. I mean, like, you have 10 guys last year, and right now on contract you only have 7. So that means you at least have 3 or 4 guys that could be competing for a spot. I mentioned Zamula as the 7th defenseman. I mean, he's coming off an injury, pretty significant one.
So you don't know what's going to happen there.
Yeah. I mean, again, you have Adder, and go ahead, Mike. Yeah.
No, I'd say if a guy's coming off a big time injury, you don't know how he's going to come back off that.
Right.
Is one pretty good full season in the American League good for Ronnie Adder? I don't know. You have to see, again, and you got a coach that doesn't really care to be like in a rebuild, and doesn't have it's a really tough spot for a young guy. You have Torts, who's doesn't really going to have he's not going to have a super long leash and come over and pat these guys on the back. So maybe some dirty looks coming down the bench, and hopefully they don't see it out of the corner of our eyes.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's the thing, for me, I look at it with Torts, and I'm kind of curious as like a former player yourself, I don't think you've, and I'm curious, have you played for a guy that's kind of like Torts like that in a way?
He was my assistant coach in the Rangers when I was with the Rangers.
Okay.
And then I played for the biggest one of them all, Mike Keenan, right? Mm-hmm. So Mike Keenan was just.
I knew that, yeah.
Torts is a nice guy Torts is reasonable compared to Mike Keenan, a reasonable human being compared to Mike Keenan.
Right.
Torts would probably give these guys, a little bit of love, behind the scenes, work with them, and it won't be all bad. You still got to teach this level, and if you have young guys, you're going to have to put your teaching hat on, on a lot of days. And some mornings he's going to have a real hard time putting on his teaching hat, and sitting down with these guys and going through stuff. And that'll be more on the assistants, but it's the end game, and when the stuff is going in the heat, that he's going to have a hard time. But so for playing for a guy like Mike Keenan, he just try and motivate you out of fear, and Torts is actually professional about it. Mike Keenan would just try and motivate you out of fear and try and scare you into playing well. And I don't know how some of these guys would do with that, really, actually.
Right.
But, times were different, and people thought that he was, they were coming to see him play and not the players, or see him coach and not the players.
Right.
So that's how it was back in the day.
Right. So I'm just curious, and how did that, affect you as a younger guy, kind of going from Detroit to the Rangers and all that type of stuff? Yeah.
And again, I started in Detroit with Scotty Bowman. So, these are not easy coaches, and
right.
So it's good. You figure it out, and you kind of, the older guys had a way about them. They weren't as a young guy, you're worried about, you got my career, and am I going to make it? And, and so, you're trying to please the coach and trying to please. And then the older guys have a different perspective. They're a little more settled, a little more established. So you're kind of trying listen to them a little bit, how to do things. And if the coach picked on you, a veteran guy, veteran coach, and was yelling at you about something, the veteran guys would always come over and be like, screw him. Don't worry about it, because they had a way, they had a way to just be thick-skinned. And so, the young guys here in Philly, they're going to have to be thick-skinned at times, and it's just a question of if you can handle it. Now, times have changed, and the psychology of things, and the way coaches coach, and are much more cerebral now to the players. They know they can't scare them really as much. So even though you got to kind of these days, 2023, put the fear of God in them a little bit, and that tends to boost them to another level when you play a little bit I don't know. I always found a little bit not it's not fear, but a little bit of unease. It actually made you play a lot better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's especially too because you have so many different variables of coaching and kind of where that aspect comes from and stuff like that too. So next couple of things, just to kind of talk about is power play. That's one of the things I wanted to kind of hone on this week, because as we're getting into like the second couple parts of the the summer, and again, like I mentioned, it's kind of quiet right now. But power play, and obviously, like you played, you were net front a lot. You were a guy that scored a lot on the power play, and had a lot of good power play numbers here in Philly too. Um, for you, I'm just curious, like, was there anything with the power play back then, like again in Philly, that kind of made it so special for you guys? Like, was there anything that you kind of always maybe look forward to, kind of going out on the power play, stuff like that? Like anything you can think of?
Well, yeah, no, I mean, you had like Simone Gagne in his prime there, who was a
Mhm.
great shooter off the flank, and
Right.
Peter Forsberg was kind of down low, and I'd be in the slot area or around the net, and Peter would move up on the half wall. Simone might be rink wide, for a one timer and stuff like that. So you probably had Simone and Peter on the flanks, and then like a Kimo Timonen or somebody who's real slick up top, and
Mhm.
uh, those are two big parts, and then they have a net front guy or somebody in the slot. Slot could have been Jeff Carter, and me more down on the net, down at the net. So, I guess you got to have somebody really good up top who's very slick. Oh, like that's a York type, who's pretty slick up front, up top, pretty
Yeah.
can run it, knows when to shoot the puck, can see a seam when a time comes, and get that floater through, or if a stinger, if you want to call it, just kind of zip it in there, and then other times knows when to square up, and is really able to put pucks on the tape on the flank. It's
Yeah.
not on the backhand. It's not, too far in front of them. It's not, it's in their wheelhouse where they can one time it, and so
Right.
it's just that continuity, I think, that you build over a time through the year. And it really helps when you have consistent lineups and consistent players on the PP, because you build those little continuity plays, and
Right.
that really helps that's going to help you produce, turn your percentage a lot much higher as well.
Right. I mean, again, because like the last 2 years, it's been 32nd in the league,
Right.
and kind of like what you were saying, like they haven't had any specific lineup. Like it used to be Giroux in the left flank, you had
Yeah.
Voracek on the right side, either Timonen or Mark Streit, and then you had Simmons in front of the net. And a lot of the time, it was Braden Chen in the bumper. So like outside of that, like the past couple of years, they've had just a bunch of different lineups and all that type of stuff. But like for me, I was kind of drawing up some I guess like sequences and setups. Is like for me, I'd have York at the point on the first unit with Couturier in the slot. I actually have Lawton in front of the net, and some people might get a little kind of concerned by that. But I thought last year they tried Lawton on the power play a little bit last year. They had him in the right flank, and he actually did pretty good at it. Like I mean, he scored a couple goals. He had some good moments on the one timer. Obviously, Tippett in the left flank. That's like perfect because he's got that shot. Connecting on the right side, he can play that. And again, I think a lot of this too, Mike, it kind of factors in if Couturier and Atkinson are healthy. Because if not, you don't have those guys, and it takes away at least somebody on the flank on the second unit. You could put Atkinson there, and same thing in the bumper on the first unit. So really, if they're not healthy, they're not gonna be as successful as they can be. And I think part of it too is like I was talking about this today with one of my buddies, and he was mentioning like that they could be like a bubble playoff team, and I'm like, yeah, but if they're healthy, and that's if they have Couturier and Atkinson, because if they don't, like they're screwed, really.
Get too thin immediately, right?
Yeah.
Well, like back to power play, it's like they're great when you have like they're almost like chess pieces, and they drop right in, a
Right.
square peg in a square hole, then you have the round peg over there, the round peg goes in the white hole, and maybe you get crazy, and if they're on their off wings, you have to switch the flanks, if you want to come with a different view, or
That's true, yeah.
like that. But it's really nice when you have the parts, and like you said, if you're going to be injured, and that's where an Atkinson and Couturier are so valuable, because it's all of a sudden your power play is them being online, it hurts you 5-on-5, and then it kills you even more on the power play, because those guys are like
Right.
big parts of that. And if you're missing them, they're it's really a big deal. Some guys seem to be a little bit more replaceable, on power plays, but some guys aren't. They're really going to falter.
Yeah.
It's obviously your quarterbacks and your puck distributors there that are replaceable guys.
Right. No, exactly. And that's the thing. Like, you're already thin enough. Plus, to me, they don't have as bad of an offense to be a number 32nd power play in the league. Like they have some legit players here. It's just the focus of, again, using the same personnel because the power play changed all the time last year. But anyway, that's a different topic. So, this is the fun part. This is going to be the fun part of the segment. I was talking to you about this earlier. The puck doku. So this is like, again, it's. I tried to fix this into guys that you've played with, like on every team. So there's guys you played with on the Flyers, Washington, Detroit, the Rangers. The only one I couldn't fit in was Boston. It was kind of hard to make that work. But there's guys in here that you've played with. Some are, pretty famous Flyers, stuff like that too. So go ahead, Mike. Let me see if you can
get one here. Okay.
Yeah, so go like any route you want. And again, if there's other guys that like I might not have on this list, because I have a list of guys that I'll show up at the end. I'll show you at the end. And there might be a guy that you say that I don't have. So as you're doing it, I'll be looking them up at the same time, just so that you know.
Okay. So going Capitals across Capitals to Red Wings. Capitals, Red Wings. I got to believe that's like Mike Green.
Okay, I have Green for that one.
Okay. Oh, so they don't pop up. I thought they were going to pop up.
Yeah, like it was hard for me to kind of put that up, but I'll put it up at the end. So my Green is 1. There you go.
Okay. Well, Philly and Columbus, that could be Jeff Carter.
It could be Carter. Yep. I had Umberger for that one.
Umberger, okay. Philly and LA could be Carter or Richards.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I actually had Gagne for that one.
Oh, geez. Carter Richards.
But that is part of it.
Yeah, as many possibles. Philly, Capitals. I got to come back to that one.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So Red Wings and LA. I got to come back to that. Red Wings and Columbus. Got to come back to that.
That one's a little tough. That one you have.
Philly and Columbus could be Jeff Sanderson too. That's right. Yeah.
It could be.
Yeah. Capitals in New York. Oh man. LA in New York. LA in New York could be. That's got to be a number. That's got to be a couple people who's played in LA.
Yeah.
Derek Armstrong. There's the one I thought of.
for Rangers Kings.
For Rangers Kings. Yeah, Derek Armstrong. Yeah. Could be Eric Lacroix too. Did Eric Lacroix? I think he played out there both.
I think he did. I think he did.
Yeah. And then Columbus and the Rangers. That's gonna be like, I got one. Theo Fleury.
Oh, that is a good
Fleury. Yeah, I think he signed. I think he signed at one point with Columbus. I played with him in the Rangers. Theo Fleury.
Yeah.
Rangers, Capitals. I'm trying. Give me what do you? So you have your list then?
Yeah. Let me show you my list then.
Yeah. Okay.
So I have Richards for. So I'll lead from left to right on the top. So I had Richards, Gagne, and Umberger.
Yeah.
Mike Green, Paul Coffey, Sergei Fedorov.
And
then I had Kevin Hatcher.
Oh yeah.
Matthew Schneider and Mike York.
Oh, those are good. Yes.
Yeah.
Those are really good. Schneider. Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I kind of went all over the place a little bit. Mike York just made Columbus. He played one game for the Blue Jackets.
Did he really?
Yeah. So that was
08,
09. Yeah. And it was 6
he
or 7.
Could have been Ranger. We didn't have the Ranger Philly one, but yeah, he was here too.
Yeah.
So.
So again, I tried to kind of add a bunch of them. I'm sure you've probably seen it. Have you been doing them? The puck
I've done a couple, or I've done one or two tops. Like Cole, I think Cole showed it to me. He goes, "Hey, look at these things."
Yeah,
they're kind of fun. And it gives you like a list, right? It gives you multiple options, right? So you pick one off your list, and it has a percentage or something, right?
Yeah. So like usually like it'll give you like a percentage of how many people have kind of put that answer type thing.
Yeah.
And so last night I was kind of thinking of some stuff, and this ended up coming into my mind, and then but yeah, no, that was good. I mean, you ended up getting
half.
Yeah, I think you got 6 out of 9. Not bad.
Well, yeah, Fedorov, I didn't. Fedorov, I said maybe. Who did I say there? I said who did I say? Red Wings, and I forget who I said.
I can't remember.
Oh, Rangers in there instead of Mike York. I said Theo Fleury.
Yeah, but again,
Fedorov's a good one.
That was a good one too. Yeah, that was like a crazy one. I was like, oh my god, he played for Columbus. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and he could have done that. Yeah, for the Capitals, Red Wings too could have done that.
Right.
He was in Wash for a bit too. So.
Yeah. No, that was good.
RJ, yeah, man, that's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, no. This was good, Mike. That was pretty good on Puck Doku. Again, it's kind of the dog days of the summer, but is what it is. And always good hearing from you, hearing your insight. And I'll talk to you next week. All right, Mike.
All right, thanks, Chris. Thanks, buddy. They are the dog days right now. Everybody's kind of on vacation. It's quiet before the storm. Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, definitely. So yeah, thanks again, Mike. And I'll talk to you next week. All right, man.
All right, thanks, Chris. Yeah.
All right, I'll see you. Bye. There he is, Mike Knuble. Ended up messing that up. There he is, Mike Knuble. Kicking It With Knuble segment. That was fun. Playing Puck Doku with Mike. He ended up getting six out of the 9. Not bad. So yeah, a couple other things I wanted to mention off of last week as well. Again, I am taking calls. If you want to hit the line, call 267-939-1216. Alexei Gendron did sign his ELC last week. I did want to mention that. Gendron, pretty good player. I think he's a type of guy in the queue that, he scores a lot. I think he had 55 goals this year in the queue across 2 different teams. The summer showcase is kind of going on. Like there's a lot of different stuff to kind of get into. Again, I know I've said this before. It's like the kind of really like quiet type of days here as the season's kind of been getting along. We've got 11 people in here. Again, if you want to hit the chat or hit the line 267-939-1216. I'll be digging some questions as well. And I do have a question for you guys. So I'm almost at 1,000 videos on YouTube. And I said that to myself, like, holy shit. I cannot believe I'm almost there. And I please excuse my language, but that's like, oh my God, like I can't even imagine how many times that I've done videos. I'll get to that in 1 second. I am getting a call. What's up, buddy?
Chris.
How are you, Tristan?
It's been a stressful all week. I mean, it seemed like that. Like last week, I was pretty stressful as hell. You know.
Yeah, no, but how you been, buddy? What's up?
So I'm still angry. What happened with that buyout?
With D'Angelo?
Tony D'Angelo.
Mm-hmm. How come?
Like, I don't understand why they buy him out. Like, he had a pretty good year.
Yeah, but I mean, I just think like it was kind of it was just at that point, dude. Like they didn't want.
Like why? Like, and another thing, do you think Ryan Ellis is gonna play any hockey seasons?
No, I think Ryan Ellis is done. Unfortunately, I can't see him coming back.
And another thing, what are they doing with his contract? He still has 4 more years left on his contract.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna get dumped on LTIR. I mean, unless they can move it. Hopefully they can at some point, but it doesn't look like anytime soon. That they might just have to eat that for another year or 2.
So I know I've been busy. So like what do you think about the Hathaway jersey? I'm signing.
Signing? Yeah, I liked Hathaway. I think it's a good pickup. I mean, he's a guy that you get him at a pretty cheap number. He comes in and he gets to keep playing.
Actually, no,
kind of help out with the young guys.
It seemed like that he could play a line with Delorier and who else? Who's the 4th liner?
Palin can play 4th line. Allison. I mean, like it's good. There's going to be a lot of guys that can kind of play on that line. It'll be interesting. But Hathaway's the guy that again can help out with
oh my God,
younger guys with tours and all that stuff.
He's pretty good. I mean, Hathaway's pretty fast.
Yeah. He's speedy type of player, physical, can score a little bit. So, it's a good pickup because then later down the line, and I mentioned this before, I mentioned this week, and even when they signed him, he's the type of guy that in a couple years you can get something for. I mean, he was traded for first rounder at the deadline. So there's a lot of different things there too.
I don't know. I mean, I know one thing. It looks like our team is turning to the right direction right now.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we're kind of getting to that point where
like you get Mishkov and then that player too, and then all the guys from the draft, and you got Mete and who else? I mean, and And I like that York is playing beginning the season with us.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think York, I think he's an NHLer now. I think again, I don't think their defense is going to be great this year. And I mentioned that, tonight, and I mentioned that before when me and Mike just kind of were talking about that as
And
well.
oh my god, like you re-signed Cates for a 2-year deal. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Like, there's a lot of different
Oh
things
my
kind of
god, that's
going
team
into it.
that Cates will look like a best player last season.
Yeah, exactly. And like you get Cates, I think a pretty good number, and all that type of stuff too. So it'll be interesting. I mean, there's a lot to kind of look at and be excited for, because it's
All right. One more question.
yeah.
So I cannot believe that it's not that about D'Angelo. It feels like Danny Breer did not buy him out. It feels like it was just the whole progress and everything.
Yeah, on just like in I'm trying to figure out what you mean.
Like, I mean, you're right. He's not the best defenseman,
Who's that?
but D'Angelo.
Okay.
And I mean, we will see. I mean, it's good. It might look good at the beginning of the season, because if you look like last season, the Forest had a pretty good beginning of the year, and then it might happen
Right.
again.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. I mean, they had a pretty good start, and so we'll see. I mean, hopefully, some things can kind of fall into place. Maybe they'll score a little bit more goals, and again, hopefully the power play can be a little bit better too. So
I mean,
it'll be interesting.
actually, no, that can be a little bit interesting with the power play too. Like, you have so many weapons for your power play. Like,
Yeah.
and it's I mean, it's more with Thompson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they have they have at least a good chunk of weapons and guys that they can use on the power play.
I mean, like you could have York play some power play minutes. He done that last season too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. But yeah.
All right.
All right, buddy.
I'll talk to you next Tuesday.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you. See you, man.
All right. See ya. Bye.
There he is, Tristan. Again, anybody else wants to ring in, hit the line, 267-939-1216. Again, I'm curious, and I got a question to kind of pose here. I'm almost at 1,000 videos on YouTube, and I don't know what to make my 1,000th video. Like, I've been thinking about it for like 3 weeks now, and I have no idea. So I'm curious. What do you think I should make? Because I'm looking at it like I could do a lot of different things. I could do a Q&A. I could do... I don't know. I could do like highlights clip. Like, there's so many different things that I could kind of do here. Kylo Green, what's up, man? Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Mr. Twister, what's up? Jeffrey, hope you're feeling well. Thank you. Mr. Twister, hope you're feeling better, man. That's always that's unfortunate. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Yeah, exactly. Philly Ghost, I agree. They just don't see eye to eye, and that's kind of where that's at. So that's all I got for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Not too much to kind of break down, and again, we're kind of getting in that like lull of the off season and stuff. So we'll see what happens over these next couple weeks. Still got to wait for this Frost contract. I did tweet about that the other day. I heard some stuff pretty close to the situation about that Frost and the Frost deal, and we'll see what happens. But thanks everybody again for all the support as always. Make sure to hit the subscribe button down below, hit the like video. Thank you again to Mike for coming on for the segment. And thanks everybody so much again for all the support. And I'll talk to you all again next week. See you guys. Thanks.